If you think you are the smartest bloke in the room, I can promise you right now, you are not. There is a saying we have in the haulage game: greed makes you deaf and arrogance makes you blind. And I once watched a bloke lose a 60,000 pound a year job, his pension, and his freedom, all because he thought he could outsmart a kitchen appliance. Let me tell you about a bloke named Gary. Gary was a veteran. He had been pulling 40-ton curtain siders up and down the M1 for 20 years. He knew every lay-by, every greasy spoon cafe, and every dodgy lockup from London to Leeds. But Gary had a problem. He lived way beyond his means. He liked the bookies. He drove a flashy motor he could not really afford, and he was always looking for a side hustle. Now, out on the motorway, you are essentially driving a mobile warehouse. Sometimes you are hauling toilet roll, but sometimes you are pulling $100,000 worth of high-end electronics. And Gary was on a dedicated contract hauling premium white goods. We are talking massive top-of-the-range American-style fridge freezers, the ones with the massive touch screens built into the doors. When a trailer is loaded at the depot, the doors are shut, and a plastic security seal with a unique serial number is clipped onto the latch. That seal is supposed to guarantee the cargo has not been tampered with. If you arrive at the delivery point and the seal is broken, all hell breaks loose. But Gary knew a trick, an old school, highly illegal trick. He knew a bloke who worked at the distribution center. For 50 quid a week, this bloke would accidentally drop 2 extra identical security seals into Gary's cab window before he drove off. And that gave Gary the keys to the kingdom. Here's how the scam worked. Gary would leave the main depot in the Midlands fully loaded, heading for a massive retail warehouse in London. But about halfway down the M1 near Milton Keynes, he would take a little detour. He would pull off the motorway and drive into a quiet, deserted industrial estate. Waiting for him at a rusted old lockup garage was a bloke in a transit van. Gary would hop out of the cab, grab his bolt cutters, and snap the official security seal off the back doors. He would swing the doors open. He and his mate would unstrap 2 of those massive 2,000-pound smart fridges and load them straight into the transit van. Once the fridges were gone, Gary would shut the trailer doors. He would take one of the spare identical security seals his mate at the depot had given him and clip it onto the latch. Boom! The trailer was officially sealed again. He would get back in the cab, drive the rest of the way to London, and hand over the paperwork. When the warehouse staff unloaded the trailer, they would find it was 2 fridges short. But because the security seal was perfectly intact, nobody blamed Gary. The transport manager just assumed the warehouse loaders at the start of the journey had miscounted. They put it down as inventory shrinkage, a paperwork error. Meanwhile, Gary was walking away with an envelope stuffed with 1,000 quid in cash every single fortnight. He thought he was untouchable, an absolute criminal mastermind. He got away with it for 3 months. He bought a new telly. He booked a holiday to Tenerife. He was walking around the yard like he owned the place. But Gary forgot one massive, glaring detail about the modern world. We do not live in the 1980s anymore. You see, those fridges he was nicking were not just big metal boxes that keep your milk cold. They were smart appliances. They had built-in computers, touch screens, and microchips. Gary's mate sold one of those stolen fridges to a bloke in a residential suburb in Essex for half the retail price. This bloke was absolutely buzzing with his cheap luxury fridge. He carried it into his kitchen, plugged it into the wall, and turned it on. The very first thing a smart appliance does when you turn it on is ask to connect to your home Wi-Fi. And the bloke in Essex, not realizing the fridge was stolen goods, typed in his Wi-Fi password. Instantly, the fridge connected to the internet. It sent an automatic ping directly to the manufacturer's global server to register its firmware. That automated ping contained two things: the fridge's unique factory serial number and the exact GPS location of the IP address it had just connected to. Back at the manufacturer's headquarters, a red flag immediately popped up on a computer screen. A fridge that had been officially logged as missing in transit from a warehouse error had just suddenly connected to the internet in a random semi-detached house in Essex. The manufacturer did not call the depot. They called the police. The police went straight to the house in Essex. They knocked on the door, found the stolen fridge in the kitchen, and asked the bloke exactly who he bought it from. The bloke instantly threw Gary's mate under the bus to avoid getting arrested himself. And Gary's mate, sitting in an interrogation room, instantly gave up Gary. It was a Tuesday morning when the music stopped. Gary had just parked his Arctic in the yard and was walking towards the canteen for a bacon roll. Two undercover police cars rolled straight through the front gates and blocked him in. They arrested him right there on the tarmac. They searched his cab and found the spare, duplicate security seals hidden inside his glove box. The physical proof of the entire scam sitting right there next to his boiled sweets and his sunglasses. He was sacked instantly. He went to court, got slapped with a suspended prison sentence, and his HGV license was torn up by the traffic commissioner. All that experience, all those years on the road, gone because a fridge ratted him out to the police. Here's the lesson I want every driver to take away from this. The days of Del Boy and Arthur Daly are dead and buried, mate. You cannot beat the system anymore. Everything is tracked. Everything is traced. Everything is connected to a computer. When you are sitting in that cab, you are trusted with the keys to a fortune. Do not throw away your livelihood, your reputation, and your freedom for a thick envelope of cash, because the cargo is always smarter than you think it is. If you made it to the end of this one, drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more real stories from the UK tarmac. And let me know in the comments, what is the most ridiculous scam you have ever seen someone try to pull at your workplace? Drive safe out there, mates. Keep the shiny side up.